The EU is rattled, according to a leading Brexiteer cabinet minister, who predicted that Brussels will eventually crumble under Brexit time pressure amid fears in Europe of a huge US-UK trade deal. Brussels will give in to UK demands despite ongoing deadlocked Brexit talks, according to a Brexiteer cabinet minister. The International Trade Secretary Liz Truss said the EU will crumble under time pressure as the UK negotiates with both the EU and US for separate trade deals. The potential for a comprehensive UK deal with the US has heaped huge pressure on the EU to back down from its defiant Brexit stance. Earlier this week, the UK warned that trade talks with Brussels will collapse within weeks unless EU nations get real about Britain's stance. Britain urged Brussels to adopt a more realistic approach to the negotiations and include more one-on-one political talks with the UK's lead negotiator David Frost. News broke this weekend that the UK will begin the first round of post-Brexit trade deal talks with the US on Tuesday. Ms. Truss and U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer will launch the negotiations via video call on Tuesday due to the coronavirus lockdown measures. Speaking to Talk Radio's Dan Wootton, Ms. Truss made it explicitly clear that when it comes to the Brexit deadline, the UK government are absolutely not extending trade talks with the European Union. Dan Wootton said, Gove told MPs this week that EU negotiators are not treating the UK in the manner they would treat other independent countries. He said the pandemic should concentrate minds. Why don't we just say, let's just do the no-deal Brexit? If they are not going to treat us fairly, why are we even continuing these talks? Ms. Truss responded, the best outcome for us is to get a free trade agreement with the EU, similar to ones they have signed up with Canada and Japan. It is true that the crisis should make people clear that trade is a good thing, that having tariff-free trade is what we all want out of this situation. I am confident the EU will see sense and work with us to achieve that. It is absolutely right we don't extend the deadline. It is time pressure that will force things to happen. On trade talks with the US, Ms. Truss said, the US President and our PM are extremely committed to a free trade agreement. We are in discussions at the moment on a virtual basis, in a similar way that the EU discussions are taking place. The talks had to be paused babies of the grave situation we were all facing, but we are looking at how we can get those talks restarted on a virtual basis. We have committed to those talks taking place in parallel with the talks with the EU. Earlier today, Ms. Truss tweeted that trade deals with the US are needed to help the UK recovery economically from the coronavirus lockdown impact.